Chronicle features ESKA water, Bermuda's #1 water. Get your hands on this unaltered, fresh, alkaline spring water straight from the source. Never touched by man, ESKA water is all natural, nothing added and nothing taken away. Once you try ESKA, you'll never go back. Get yours today, available in Bermuda island wide. Hey Maya, how you doing?
All things considered, pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since we've actually been able to link up and kind of, just catch up really at all.
Casual vibes.
Yeah. So yeah, how have you been though? Like obviously with everything changing and whatnot, like has life changed? You know, what's up? What's up?
I mean, probably since the last time I've spoken to you, I've been to university and I graduated and things.
Yeah, you like fully grown.
It's been years. I think the last time I actually remember seeing you face to face, it may have been, for some reason the last pure memory I have is after you won the Bermuda Festival. But there was a time after that where I think you made this awesome line, and the pens were like cut match inspired, these white pair pens, and I was in love with them. They were so freaking gorgeous. I can't remember like the name that you named them all. I can't remember if you even took photos here in Bermuda with them. I don't know. I just remember seeing them and being like, huh, I want these pens. Like they're so great.
Really?
Yeah.
Talking about tapping in. I remember when you started doing your Media Maya, because obviously I was in London, you were here, and then my parents are telling me what's going on, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, what's going on? Obviously I know like COVID and everything, but the difference from the England, stuff happening in England versus here, it was just interesting to see how, locally it was being handled with like the different surnames and like all of that. And yeah, it was just pretty cool to actually be able to have at least a source that I could go to and be like, what's happening back home today? You know what, actually, saying that, you helped me with my flight.
Really?
You really did. Because I remember I was going to book my PCR test or whatever, and I think the first time I looked online, it said, what did it say? It said something like 5 or 7 days. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know why, your post came up on Insta and you had the update, like the latest update, and it was like 3 days or something. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Thank God for my health. I would have had this 5-day-old test and they'd be like, you can't come here. And I'd be like,
so many messages. I've gotten so many. Even like 2 days ago, I actually got more messages about that. Like the whole 3-day thing is really hurting some people because now the US, I believe, is now saying that that you need a test in 3 days. They're saying you need a test in 3 days. And what if you like take a test but you don't get your results back within the right time frame? Yeah. And so now like you're at the 48 mark, you still haven't got it, 48-hour mark, and you still haven't got it back. Yeah. You're trying to travel and I have to cancel your flight because you haven't gotten your results back, and you thought it would be back in 2 days because I need it for 30 days. We need to have it between 3 days. So the 3 days thing is like, you got to make it work for everyone because it's obviously not getting everyone's results back in a timely fashion for them to actually take their flights. So that's a difficult thing for some people. Yeah. How did you get into journalism? Journalism, oh my gosh, that's actually been a part of my life for as long as I can actually remember. If I could pinpoint a time, it may have been high school, maybe. I always love sports, huge athlete, like, Bermuda national sport team for Philadelphia, that was me, champion girl all throughout my life. Like, sports is just my thing. And I love to write, and I decided to like combine the two, so I always thought I was going to be like a sports reporter. I still kind of want to be a sports reporter. Like, one of my goals in life that I have like hidden in the back of my notebook is like, I want to host a Raptors game or something every year. Like, I want to be up there in the crowds, like, how's everyone feeling? Like, I want to be that person. And I think it'd be so much fun. I'm such a fangirl at heart. Like, any athlete doing amazing things, whether you're comedian or away, I don't even have to know you. Just the fact that, you're pushing your body to all these extreme, like, positions and mental mindset. Like, I know what it takes. Like, I mean, I was an athlete. I thought I was going to probably do Division 1 field hockey. Like, I really loved everything about sports and like, just the way it makes you feel when you do something, accomplish something, and work so hard for something. Whether anyone's looking at you like you must be a fool to push your body to that length, but it's a mental mindset, physical mindset. It's just, I appreciate any athlete. I don't care what you do, whether it be the little shuffle Canadian thing or I don't care what you do, because I know the mental mindset it takes to like want to perfect something. So I appreciate that in all sport. But moving into why I'm even at this position here, I kind of reporting on politics and everyday things in Bermuda, is because when I was in school, when I finally decided to like, I'm gonna do a degree in journalism, I realized I knew way too much about Canadian politics than I knew about my own country in Bermuda. And that's kind of how it kind of matched together. To me, like, let me learn more. And that's why I started talking to my, friends and talking on my Instagram page about it. And here we are now, when I would just tweeted, I want to be at the next press conference when it came to COVID. And Media Maya is there all the time. And I made it into a company. And now it's just slowly and quickly have become such a brand name even here in Bermuda. And I'm so appreciative of that. And I enjoy the support from my community for me to continue doing what I'm doing. When at the beginning of when I ever wanted to become a journalist, all I ever got was, why? And now it's like, continue on. It's just like, I'm so glad that I did continue even when everyone didn't really see a real career in it. But I knew that I loved talking to people. I knew that I appreciated what people go through as a community to make who we are. Like, at the end of the day, journalists record history. Sometime 50 years from now, someone somewhere is going to be doing a report trying to figure out something, and they might come across my story as evidence and proof to help support their facts. Like, we record history, and I think that's really awesome and cool, because wouldn't you want your story to be told and remembered the way that you had it? Like, it's just, I love journalism, I love reporting, I love talking to people, and I love knowing that my voice is helping to amplify theirs.
And what else have you been reporting on? Because I've seen you being proper active.
I have been super active, and my favorite thing actually to do with Instagram, which has always been my thing, even before COVID, which is so funny, the amount of new followers that I have because of COVID. Obviously, Instagram for me, I'm very, social savvy, so Instagram for me was always a better way to just connect instantly with people instead of waiting to read a story at the end of the day or waiting for the news to come on at 7 p.m. Like, I just want to know what's going on right now. And Instagram was just the perfect way. I already had people who follow me who actually liked the fact that I sometimes talked about the news on the island. My main thing was always talking about what I believe was important for my generation and younger to know that will affect us in the future. So most of my things were political before COVID, or informative of different events that might be going on, just so everyone could stay connected with the local scene, what's going on, what do we need to know. And then if something is happening and I feel like we need to talk about it, I'd have the Instagram stories with a bunch of discussions. So that was clear end. I love being a discussion board because a lot of people come to me with their opinions, they vote on things I agree with that, I don't agree with that. And then after a while, a lot of ministers did start coming to my page, seeing the results of what people are saying. Obviously, in some circumstances, I tag their pages, see if they're read it, open it up. This is what the younger generation is talking about. This is what we care about right now. These are our opinions on things. Because I always want everyone to feel inclusive and heard and also respected whenever I report. I don't like the type of reporting that frightens people to read. Things with really horrible headlines, and I say so often, you need to know your reporters. You need to know the company that they work for too, because at the end of the day, though we try to be as unbiased as possible, a reporter still brings in their own life lessons to whatever they're working on. For instance, I'm Black, I'm young, I'm female, very inclusive. I love sports, politics, I like fashion, and things like that. And I was raised in a household with all women. So my viewpoint on a certain story would differ from somebody else's. Take Chevelle Dillon-Burgess, for example. She's still been missing. It's basically almost come up to a year now, because I remember her going missing around my birthday time when they were recording it, and that was in April. And so at the press conferences, most times, I'm the only young and female reporter there. So I'm the only reporter at the press conferences that is young, female, and Black. And so I'm literally the only reporter that might even think to ask about Chevelle or where she is, what's going on with that.
Wait, no one else would ask?
Not that they wouldn't ask, but I don't think it covers the radar. Like I said, every journalist has their
their own interests or agenda.
Their own interests. That's why when people talk about making newsrooms more diverse, it's because when you look at the stories that a whole newsprint is publishing or how they represent different communities, like Malcolm X said the best, media has the power to make the innocent look guilty and the guilty look innocent. There is that huge power. So when you have, I'll be very frank, when you have an all-white media organization reporting about a crime that's probably done by a black man, or reporting about a crime that's done by a white man, you see the differences in the headlines. It could be the exact same crime. And you can even see the differences in the courtrooms where, the black guy get a longer sentence than the white guy. And it's just like same crime, same time, everything's very similar, just the color of the skin is different. And it goes and it deeps into how we report on things too. So me asking about Chevelle is because I am young and I'm black and I'm female. I relate to her. I relate to the fact that she's missing. I care about that because it affects me as well. Rather than a male white reporter might not think twice about asking about it again. Like they're asking about it the first few times when it was the hot topic, right? But now that it's almost been a year and there's been no real depth to finding her, and I know that our police are working as hard as they can, but our community is just in such a shock and disarray. Where is she? How can she be missing on such a small island? How can there be no one? There has to be a reason. Everyone's looking for the point where is she? So in that sense, everyone bringing in their own part of themselves to ask about different things, which is why having a diverse journalist, having to know who your reporters are and what company they work for is very important to understanding how the story is being represented to when you read it. If you feel like things are missing or this doesn't really feel very unbiased, there's a lot to go behind that, because even though journalists do try, we really do try to be as unbiased as we can, everyone has their own lives that they've lived. You're still reading stories from a person. And that person has a life. And that life changes their viewpoint of how they see things.
So where is Media Maya or Maya going?
Where I see it going. Definitely, I still want to be a part of my community in Bermuda, but I want to leave first. That was the plan before COVID. I wanted to leave and experience, a real newsroom and most likely, hopefully, broadcast or radio, either in Canada and Toronto. But now I have my sights kind of set on Washington or Atlanta. So
why?
Well, a lot of things are happening in the States right now and in Washington, so I don't want to be in the buzz of it all, and I think it'd be super fast paced, and I would actually be either, even if I'm at the bottom of the barrel of journalism because I'm just going out there, but I do have my dual citizenship and I just want to either just get dirty in a sense, and feel the grit and grind of the everyday journalism life. It's definitely not pretty, and I know that, but I also feel in order to do more in other places, you gotta start at every level. You gotta experience every single level, because when you're doing media, especially multimedia in 2021, you got to do it all. You have to be able to do it all, so you gotta experience it all too. And again, letting people know who your journalists are. So, yeah.
Wow. Good talk, Maya. It's really inspiring to hear, obviously your growth, your journey so far, where you're planning to go. But,
I think my favorite thing to remember when I'm on this journey is follow your heart, but take your brain with you. So, you're not, you don't want to fall. It's a lot of things to love in this life, but does it make sense?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
That's something I want to leave with.
So, okay. Well, that's it.
Thanks.